Welcome to Invest and Play. Today in the garage, we are demoing our brand new truck camper. And you're poking through the roof. What is going on there?
This was the hole that we had actually asked not to have put in the camper. And in order to get all 5 solar panels on the roof, we have to fill this baby. So we've taken out the roof vent and we're prepping to get ready to fill this hole for the solar.
Yeah, because apparently it's really hard for them to pay attention enough to do what we asked them to do. So anyways, we ripped out the roof vent, which you can see over there.
It's a very classy thing.
And we're going to be patching the hole.
This one.
Then you can kind of see we staged 3 of the solar panels up there on the roof. And then we'll be putting 2 more where Faith is sort of poking through there. And we'll be building a frame for them. We'll show you how we decided to build and mount those things here once we've got that rolling. And let's go take a look inside and see what we're working on. So the biggest thing we're doing is this change with the electrical system. So that is going to be the solar panels that are going on the roof. And then it's going to be all the corresponding parts. So we've got 2 Battle-Born lithium batteries that are going in. And that's gonna be really exciting because we've only run AGM sealed batteries, and running these lithium should be a pretty neat transition as far as just allowing them to charge a lot quicker and also be able to fully discharge them. They also weigh about half as much as the AGM for how much capacity they have. The biggest downside, they're not cheap, but they are really great. I think they're gonna fit really well. So originally those batteries were in this front compartment here, kind of sharing with the water tank in this little cubby hole, and we're going to be relocating them to kind of where they're sitting right here on the floor, and we're going to be building this into a bench. And so the dinette, instead of it being just a single cushions to sit, we're going to have a bigger table, and we're going to have opposing seating so we'll be able to sit facing each other with 1 seat here, 1 seat over here. And so these are the batteries. So we'll have 2 of these 100 amp hour batteries, so that's 200 amp hour total. And then we're going to be having the solar charge controller, probably mount that kind of hidden up under here. We also doing a power run from the truck, so it's going to have a charger source from the alternator of the truck that's going to run to a DC to DC charger that's 50 amp. So we're going to be running some wiring in the truck to a connector to the camper so we can recharge when we drive, recharge from the solar, and probably never plug in, so that's not really going to be a thing for us at all at this point. We're not going to be running a power inverter for now, but we will be putting in a number of USB ports and those DC style socket outlets like we had in our other RV. So that's the big part, is going to be the electrical system that we're working on. And then we're going to be redoing the dinette, so we're going to be having new cushions made. And we've got a new table already, which is sitting over here. So that's going to be mounted up, and we're going to reposition the swing arm and whatnot for the table setup. And then the water tank, we're going to probably be replacing it with a 30-gallon tank, but for now, I think we'll leave it, at least for the summer. And with the water system though, for now, we're going to be doing a few changes. For whatever reason, they mounted the sink faucet clear away from the sink. So when you're washing dishes, the sink faucet barely gets the water into the sink. So when you're washing stuff, it just splashes all out. So we're going to move the faucet base to about here. And so that way the water flows more into the middle of the sink, and it'll be a lot more functional. And then we've got a soap dispenser. We added one of these to our last camper. It was awesome. Could probably mount it here in the corner, so it's going to stick underneath, and just the top part, of course, stick out. We've got a filtered water dispenser that you've probably seen in residential stuff that we installed in the other RV. We're going to put it in here, and we're going to be running it off of some filters. So we're still working on the filters for it, but it's going to be running through a 2-stage filtration where it basically has a filter that's like a 0.5 micron and then a UV light to kill any leftover viruses, bacteria, before it hits up into there. And we'll be doing a little bit more with water filtration, but the idea is to be able to essentially filter water from almost anywhere, any source, and not have issues with it drinking wise. And so that's the water system that we're working on. And all the cabinetry, these are all just open cabinets, which is great, but organization is a big deal in a small camper. So we picked up some thin plywood material. I don't know what the thickness is, but it's really thin. So we're going to be building that into shelving in all the cabinets. We'll show you guys what it looks like, but just to give us some organization with it and make the space a little more efficient. And we like stuff clean and orderly. The other part of the plumbing system is going to be the drains. So the drain for the sink, drain for the shower. We had asked them not to run the piping for it, but as you can see, we have all the piping, and they actually drilled a hole for the water to run off underneath the camper into a gray tank, which we asked them not to put in, which they didn't put it in the gray tank, but they still drilled a hole in the bottom of the camper and ran the piping to there, so it runs to nothing, which is retarded. So anyways, we have a hole to fill at the bottom of the camper, and then we picked up all the hose and fittings to reroute the drains from both to the outside, and we're going to just have it go into a hose style connection that then we can run a hose down into some sort of collapsible jug or whatnot and just get rid of the gray water that way, because carrying around gray water isn't that great. And then that goes to the next project, which we're converting this basement space underneath the camper. So the camper floor is right about here, and the bottom of the camper is actually down about 1.5 inches lower than this. So we're going to be turning this entire, I guess it's the garage, or not it's garage, but basement of the camper into storage drawers. And so this is going to turn to a flap that folds down and storage drawers that pull out, so that way we can put all of the long-term storage, but mostly we want to store our paddle boards because there's no good way to carry those at this point. And we've also kind of decided it would be best to take the camper jacks off when we're not using them, and this will be a great spot because it's really low, basically truck bed height, so center of gravity will help us out there, and it'll keep them out of the way, but easily be able to access them and put them back on. So that's going to be the next project for that. We picked up a new bed for the camper, and we've got a few other items. We basically have a huge, massive pile of parts at this point that we're going to be slowly going through and putting together on this thing. So it's getting a little hot here because we're in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we're into June, so it's definitely warming up. We're gonna start tackling these projects, see if we can get this thing kind of squared away enough to get out to some cooler weather here in the next few weeks. So that's our goal. We'll keep you posted on our progress with it. And oh, hey, let's take a look real quick because we just got the truck windows retinted. So check this out. The White Knight has tinted windows. This really classed it up. Huge shout out to the One Armor guys in Scottsdale for doing all the window tints. It looks like it came out really nice. We'll take a closer look once it dries and everything. But probably the most amazing thing, we brought the truck to them all just completely filthy dirty from our last trip out. When we got the camper, we spent quite a bit of time off road, and it was just filthy dirty. They gave it to us looking like this. It's perfectly all detailed and beautiful. Isn't that great? And the truck now looks less of a work truck. It's amazing how tinted windows can help the appearance of the truck, and it'll give us a little more security in the back with storing things so people aren't looking in on there. What do you think of all this?
I'm excited to get started on some projects. We've spent the last 2 weeks pretty much ordering part after part after part, trying to figure out the system setups. So we're waiting on a few final parts and a few system issues, not issues, but delays. And then we'll have it all worked out. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's a lot of work going through and figuring out all of the components because we're not really experts with any of this stuff, and doing it ourselves, it takes a lot of research to kind of be educated and try best as possible to get it done well and right as best as possible. So we'll show you kind of how we ended up doing this stuff, and if you have suggestions or things that might be better or change, we're definitely open to hearing about those things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, thanks for watching our camper demo intro video, and hopefully we'll be reconstructing and adding stuff to it here in the next week, and we'll keep you posted on our progress with that. So appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate all the guys that hit like and subscribe as well. So we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.
Thank you.